very slowly and toss out that sand. Let's see how that tastes now.
Now that can be served hot, but it was usually served always
That's nice hot.
cold at the pavilion. It is nice hot too. So
Very
I have
good.
one which is cold, and I think we should have a bit of chives in it. So this is a very rich soup, of course, and you would not serve much more than about 4 ounces, you know?
Yes.
Because this is quite rich and delicious
That's very
and
pretty,
elegant,
isn't it?
you know? Yes.
We'll just taste that.
Exactly. It's a different taste than when it's hot, yeah?
It's very nice, isn't
Yes.
it?
So we'll
Sort
put
of
it here.
a more elegant version of a Vichy swallow.
Yes, very elegant version. So now, out of this is the part where you would want to remove, of course, all of those, because we only use the juice for the bilibi. Look at the size of those, you know? They are
Those are beautiful.
But do you want to use some of those directly on the plate?
Or are we going to put them back into the shell with a ravigotte sauce? What do you think?
Oh, so we could do that. So at that point, we keep half a dozen of nice shell, like this.
Let's put a little lettuce on
Yeah.
it, you think? Just to make a bed for them.
Okay.
Then I think when we make the sauce, put a little sauce in each one and then the mussel on top, would you say?
Yeah, okay, so we can arrange that here, and then
Yeah.
we'll put the sauce after in it whenever.
We'll make the ravigotte in here.
It's actually beautiful.
We need a bit of chopped shallots in there.
So what do you want in there?
We
Chopped
need
shallots?
some chopped shallots
Okay.
and a bit of mustard.
So I'll let you.
You
Make the
do
stuff?
the shallot, I'll put
Okay.
a little mustard in. And then we
Very
want a
good.
bit of hard-boiled egg.
Oh, here it is.
I think we have some. Well, that's a nicely hard-boiled egg, isn't
You want,
it?
you want a knife? You want that knife?
Okay.
Okay, so shallot. You have mustard there, shallots,
I do, yes.
pepper. I'm putting black pepper, pickle.
Let's have a little pickle. I think that's delicious.
I love the pickle. Those are not the sweet pickle, by the way. Those would be like your gherkin. Here we are here. So this is a kind of sauce that you can use with a poached fish. It's great. You can use that with our mussel here. You can do a salad with it. Some parsley in there.
Oh,
that
that's
would work
very
well
nice.
with it. Yes. You
What
want
else now, do you
what type
think?
of oil do you want in there?
Some excellent olive oil.
Okay.
Because I like this is a very light olive oil.
Yes. How about some vinegar?
Yes. A bit of fresh lemon. A little.
Here we have the lemon. And this is white wine vinegar, right?
Mm-hmm. How was that? Pretty good?
Yeah.
Ravigotte.
Have you got? Yes. I'll give you back your mussel if you want to put.
I'll put a little bit.
So you put some in there, and I'll put one mussel in each?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If they are small, you can put several mussel in it. Shall we put some on top too?
Yes.
And back on top. That's good. And
This is very nice.
And with mussel, of course, you need a nice
A nice white wine.
white wine. And you know what you need too? French
Right.
bread.
Yeah.
To dip it in the juice, you know? So that's
Just
what we're going to
tear it
do.
apart, you think?
We're going to tear it apart. We're going to eat our mussel. We're going to drink our wine. And we're going to toast you.
I'm going to say, bon appetit.
And happy cooking.
Good to be cooking with you, Jack.
It sure is.
Okay.
A presentation of KQED San Francisco.
It's a beautiful color, Jack, and the skin looks crisp, but not too much so.
Yes, and it smells real good, just out of the oven.
And I notice as you're carving the white meat that it all stays together.
Yes, yes, you know, when the chicken has been frozen, sometimes it tends to break apart, but this was a nice, fresh chicken.
That looks good and it smells so delicious.
I agree with you.
Tender and perfect.
Yes. I can't wait to eat it.
A well-roasted chicken is the sign of a really fine cook.
Even among professionals.
That's true.
Here, taste it.
That looks awfully good. We're going to show you how to do it today. Good.
Happy cooking.
Bon appetit. We're going to do whole chicken today. We're going to do one whole roast chicken 2 ways, and then we're going to do another one that's butterfly. And Jack has you're going to prepare a little stuffing.
I'm doing a little stuffing just under the skin, so I'm very simple. I'm putting some shallots here. Do you want to help me cut some shallots?
Sure.
And some herbs, so just to stuff it under the skin, and of course you don't have to do that. On the other hand, you can vary it. You can have chopped mushroom. It flavors the meat, you know?
Yeah.
It's a bit more elegant. I think that'd be plenty here. I have about a good half a cup of shallots. We are going to put some savory with it. It's part of the herbe de Provence, the savory, you know?
It has a very aromatic
Yes, I'm going to
flavor.
put
You don't want too much, do you?
about a tablespoon of the fresh one. And I'll add some parsley. You know, I have the flat parsley here.
The flat has a little more flavor, but it's not as pretty as for the decoration, is
It's
it?
different, yes. I mean,
Yeah.
some swear by one or the other. Are you going to stuff yours with anything?
Well, I'm going to have to put mine a little lemon in it. On the whole, it's going to be rather pristine.
Oh, good. So I put a little bit of ground pepper in it, a dash of salt. I don't really want to cook it long, you know, frankly. I just want to soften the shallot, you know, so that I can...
Notice the way he has the handle for frying pan. He's jerking it. He's not doing this, he's jerking it, and it turns over
there is
beautifully.
a sway there, so there is a kind of elliptical motion, you know, with this. And that's about it. I'm going to put it on that plate here so that it cool off a little bit so I can stuff my chicken with it, other flavoring. So I let it cool off, and while this is cooling off,
I'll do my chicken.
we're gonna work on your chicken. Good.
I'm going to make mine very simple, and we have to remember salmonella, etc. So when you're going to prepare any kind of raw chicken, you want to be sure it's on a surface that you're going to thoroughly wash with soap and water. When you're through, you have to make sure that all of your instruments are going to wash also.
Yes.
And I've also washed this chicken. I have washed it with hot water. And if we take in
I don't wash my chicken.
And he doesn't wash his. I think in France, they're not as worried about things as we are they?
Well, I live in Connecticut, pretty far from France.
Well, that's
you know.
right.
But what happened is that I feel it's going to go in a 425 degree oven for like an hour or so, and at that point, if the bacteria are still living, they deserve to live, you know?
I'm taking out the wishbone.
The wishbone, okay.
So that it makes the breast easier to carve. And if you have any children who like wishbones, too bad for them, I guess, or take more time getting it out. I think it makes the breast much easier to carve.
That's it. Good. So those chicken are about close to 4 pounds, huh?
Yes, they are.
You want to leave the fat in it or take it out?
I'll take it out. when you stuff your chicken, you could do some of that under the skin, couldn't you?
The 2 lumps of fat like this. Well, sometimes I use it in pate, you know.
I want to put a little salt and pepper in mine. And I've got some fresh sage. I'm going to put that in.
Good.
And a bit of lemon. The idea of lemon, I think that came to me through Marcella Hazan, the Italian cook.
She put lemon in it.
She puts lemon in it.
I'll cut some slice for you if you want.
That'll be fine. And then squeeze it a little bit.
And you put that
I'm
inside?
just going to put that inside. Then, I have to get these nubbins off.
That's the classic way.
Wings akimbo.
That's it.
That goes underneath there. And then I'm going to give it a butter massage.
Oh, ho.
This is very good for it. Makes it feel...
Very, very good for the skin.
It makes it feel as though you're really paying attention to it.
Yeah. And you are
Comforting.
paying real attention to it. Good.
And now a little salt all over it. Then I just want to tie those legs together.
Yeah. That's it, just like this, that's it.
Yeah, as long as that'll really hold.
That's it.
I have a rack here. These, I think, are available in most places, aren't
Yeah,
they?
those are nice because it gives you a nice heat transfer of heat from the side to all over, so it brown on each side. That's a nice way of kind of self-basting
And then another thing is I'm going to put this in shallow pan. With this kind of thing, because it's not going to turn, I don't think you want to use high sides like that, because the bottom and the sides won't brown.
Yes, that's a good point.
And that's just going to go and sit in the roasting pan. Jack, I forgot I'm going to put a little bit of lemon juice on.
Oh, lemon juice on top of it, good.
I think that helps it brown, too.
I still have my chicken to do, right? Here we are, and it's about the same weight. I'm removing the fat also. And I also going to remove the wishbone, that triangular piece right here. Sometimes the skin of the neck is too much. And that triangle here, I'm doing just as you did, cutting on one side, cutting on the other side, then after prying it out, you know. This one is broken. I can feel it now, it's broken right in the center. I have one piece on this side, one piece on the other side, and you have to be careful because when it's broken like that, the end is pointed. You know, the end is very pointed and you can puncture your finger. If it's not broken, if it's a try, you can pry it out like that and down. But again, here it really helps in the carving. On mine here, I'm going to cut the wing. So here, I want to bring this together, and for me, I'm going to stuff it a little bit under the skin. One of the best way maybe is to get a bowl, something like that I can sit the chicken in, so that I can actually, underneath here, you know, put my stuffing, mostly under the breast. First, what I should have done is really run my finger here.
It's very easy to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it just works that way.
It just works. Get it loose like that. There is a little bit of fiber, but as you can see, I can really put my hand all around the breast.
It's so funny seeing the hand go right through there, doesn't it?
We put it there this way, and now I can stuff it in there with this. You're going to keep it open for me like this?
I will.
So I actually just...
And that will be between the skin and the flesh.
Between the skin and the flesh,
it
yes.
smells good. The shallot is so nice with it.
If I cook a chicken often at home, I may not do it. If I have a guest coming, then you want to make it a bit fancier, and that's one way of doing it, and make it a little bit different. Okay. Not too messy this way. Then I get it out again. Bring the skin on the back, you know, so that to keep that stuffing in, and kind of massage the stuffing a little bit, you know, bring it down on the breast like this. Bring my leg together, and I like when I truss it to start this way, you know.
Start backwards.
Yes. It's a nice way of trussing it.
Now, and the trussing is really... in this truss, you can turn the chicken. You don't need to worry about
Right.
the truss coming off. So
And what you
watch
don't
very
want, there is many
carefully.
trussing where they put the string on top of the breast. It should not be on top of the breast. So
Because
I go
it'll show.
underneath. I bring the leg here. Now, all you go underneath, you do this. So you cross it above, right? Mm-hmm. And then you go under the drumstick to do like
that
an
really
eight.
holds
an
it,
eight figure.
yes.
And then you can close it.
That's very
And then you
good.
bring it around and just attach it. In that case here, what happened, I cut the wing, remember? Otherwise, I can anchor
yes.
it behind the wing, but there I anchor it behind the neck because I
That's
remove the
because
wing.
that's what you need, isn't it?
Yes,
It's an
and like
anchor.
that keep the skin together also there, you know?
That's wonderful. Those are the secrets, I think, of having those anchor places
Yeah.
there and there.
So at that point, you see, it is nice because the breast is up and it's secure in place. I can move it around. So
Une
what I-
belle poitrine.
Une belle poitrine. So I'm going to put a bit of salt for me, here, there, and that's it. I don't put anything else on top.
Good.
I know you. Or since I'm putting it directly on the tray, I may put like a half a teaspoon of butter just there because I want to start it on the side, you know? Brown it on the side, turn it on the other side, and eventually finish on the back. Okay, so let's put it in the oven. Good. And that should cook about 425 degrees for like 15 minutes. Then we reduce the heat.
And then finish it off at 350, and it'll take, because my chicken was almost 4 pounds, that'll take almost 2 hours.
Yes.
And with 2 chickens in the oven, that
Yeah.
takes even a little bit longer.
So, shall we start on the other chicken?
All right.
Okay. So here we're going to do a larger chicken, even. I mean, this is a
This is
roaster. Huh?
almost a 5-pounder.
This is, yeah, I think it's like 5.5 pounds actually. You know,
And
so
what
it's
we're
pretty.
going to do this, we're going to butterfly it and broil roast it, because this would take about 2.5 hours roasted, and if you butterfly, it takes half the time.
Yes.
So first you're going to take out the backbone.
Yes, I'm going to take the wishbone also
Yeah.
on that one. Yeah. And I'll see if this one is broken. See, I can on each side. No, it's not broken, so I can really pry out with my thumb and then put my thumb in the back of it and break it up.
And you have the whole thing. Good.
See, this is that piece here, which is actually, as I say, really in the way when you carve. So, we're going to I remove the end of it here. All that we keep for our stock, of course, which is good. And I'm going to cut also the end of the drumstick here. So this way.
Is that for better presentation?
Yes, it has, I think, a better presentation this way. What happened here, the chicken will shrink a little bit, you know, as it cooked and make like a little ham.
Mm-hmm.
And what we want to remove now is the strip of bone in the back. So,
that will give you plenty of room to make a nice sauce.
yes.
With a big, heavy knife, you can have your supermarket do this for you. They can just take the bone out with their big buzz saw.
Exactly, yes. Or you can use...
But it's useful to learn how to do it yourself, I
Sure.
think. And cutting it very close to the bones, you don't lose any
Yeah,
meat.
you don't... And that you use for stock anyway. So at that point here, we cut it a little bit the bone here so we can spread it out. Good. Another
That's a good idea, cutting it that way.
Yeah, and another thing I like to do here, you see the leg here? I want to cut. You can see here, this is the drum. You know, the drumstick and the thigh. This is the place where it never really get cooked enough. So I cut it up and
That's a,
little
good
bit
idea.
here.
Yes,
just in the joint here, a little bit like this, so the heat start there.
that's
you
a
know?
good idea.
And I do actually the same thing here, cutting a little bit of the joint here and of the joint.
And it makes carving
Here.
easier, too.
Yes.
That's a very good idea.
So, what we do now, pre-cook it a little bit, right?
Well, what I like to do is to season and butter that and brown this side under the broiler,
Under
and
the
then
broiler.
turn it over and finish it roasting.
Okay,
it's
so
a
we-
broiled roast.
We did exactly that because I knew you wanted to do that. So we have one which said 10 minutes under the broiler,
Good.
this way.
Well, are you going to put a spice rub on
And then
it
I'm going to do a spice rub on
afterwards?
top.
I see.
Yes. Yes.
No, we have one that's already browned.
So this is exactly the same. it has been 10 minutes under the broiler. So it's basically a raw, but...
It's just because it's going to roast on the other side, on the
Yes.
skin side.
And I like to use one of those little coffee grinder, you know, a spice grinder. This is mustard seed, you know. Mustard seed, I'm putting a little bit of caraway seed, some herbe de Provence.
That dry herb mixture, what does that have? Rosemary and thyme.
Exactly. And a bit of paprika. A little dash of cayenne. That's it. This is black pepper. And I'll put my salt in there. I may as well put all the seasoning that I need. And this is great. I mean, that little machine does the whole thing in seconds, you know? So we have to
I'm going to move away all that pepper I can hear.
Yeah, the cayenne, you know?
Yeah.
So we put a little bit on this side. Ooh, I can feel it too. Then, as you can see, it's still raw, you know? You can, of course, do it without any of the seasoning, yeah? And now it's going to go in the oven. I put the butterfly chicken in the other oven. Now I'm going to check the first one. Look at that here. As you can see, oh, yours is beautiful. Now mine here has brown on one side, and as you can see, you know, it's beautifully brown. And with the stuffing here, now I put it on the other side. I like to cook it on one side, the other side, and only the 10 minutes on the back, you know, so that the juice stay in the breast. And now, of course, it was at 425. I'm going to reduce the temperature to about 350, 375.
Now, to look at these two, this is the one that really wasn't trussed at all. The legs have come apart and it doesn't look very elegant.
No, I think it looked great. You see,
Yes.
if I press in it like that, I don't know if the camera can, and if you press and you see the juice, it should be nice and clear.
We want to show how do we know that the chicken is done?
Yes, when it's nice and clear this way, or also even when you pour the juice out of it and the juice is clear, you don't have any blood in it.
Yes, if it's rosy, it just isn't done.
It needs a little more,
And
yes.
also, I think you feel the legs.
Yes, the leg here. First, I'm going to remove this one here, to remove that rack.
Then if you sit it in a plate and there's some rosy juices that fall in the plate, it's definitely not quite done. So you're going to carve that one.
Yes, so what I'm going to do is to put this one there and maybe start to carve it and start the juice.
And we have this lovely
beautiful
juice going to make a
here.
great sauce.
What we want to do to start with is to remove as much fat as we can from the top here, just to keep the clear fat and keep just the natural juice underneath. I know when I was an apprentice and even at home, in France we use the chicken fat to saute potato or other type of thing, the clear fat like that.
Sensible people here do the same thing. It's not only the French who are clever.
I know. See, I do that now. Now here, the beautiful crystallization of the juice, which is a glass here. You want to deglaze that with a bit of vermouth?
I think very often white wine is a little acid. We can put in more if we want.
You want a bit of chicken stock too?
So we put a tiny bit of that in. And all these brown bits, that's where the wonderful flavor is.
But we want to have all of that melting, right?
Yes, and I think we'll put in a little bit of shallot too.
So while this is cooking, you look at that. Shall I carve the chicken during that time?
Yes, let's.
Okay. First, don't forget to remove the string. And in that case here,
No, that, I think that's a definite indication that there's no pink in there.
yes. And this, at that point here, I will probably cut, there is a joint here, I cut in the joint, cut a piece of the breast, and lift up that piece of the breast directly off here.
And there's a warm platter.
Good. This side, again, you cut the breast and break it open at the joint and pull it. Remove it. I can see now, you can see here all of the stuffing that I had in my chicken. I will again cut at the joint to remove the other breast, or part of the breast. Here it is. And then now we have the whole front here. I actually love the bone, you know. If I have a choice, I'll eat the bone. you know, with a salad. What I want to do here is to take the brochet, that is the white, all the white part out of it. I just hold it with my knife and pull it out. That's also an indication if the chicken is really good, it's going to slide out of here. Okay, and then you can pull this out. Basically, all you have here is your carcass, you know. What we are going to do is to serve that roast chicken, and maybe we'll arrange the salad. We have some beautiful lettuce leaf here.
Now, Jack, I'm going to show you the juices.
The juice, we have beautiful juice here. And we want to do a little bit of vinaigrette, you know. I want to use a little bit of the fat of the chicken with the vinaigrette. So here we are, just plain beautiful Boston lettuce for the vinaigrette, the garlic, salt, pepper, you know. I have a little bit of, you want to give me a little bit of vinegar?
There's a little vinegar.
Okay, this is a red wine vinegar. A little bit of mustard. And I put the fat, you know, that I have from the chicken again from the top. A little bit of that and a little bit of the olive oil. That bring all those tastes together, you know.
Well, that should be very nice. I think putting a little of the meat juice in is a very good idea.
Yeah, and we sprinkle some of the juice on top, you know. So, the two breasts.
Yeah, that looks very nice.
And the large breast extra there.
You could serve 6 people with this.
You could serve 6 people with that on a large chicken like this one.
4, yes.
I would frankly finish outside on my salad. I should have maybe put it before I put my chicken
No,
on
they
top.
like it that way. I think that's very nice.
And certainly a little bit of that juice sprinkled on top. And I mean, look at dark and beautiful juice. Do you think it's eatable?
I would think so. I could eat all of it right now.
Okay. And now we have that other one here. And shall I cut that one?
That in there.
This one is darker, you know, in color. It's really a large chicken. I mean, look at the size of that chicken. It's very thick. So you can probably carve, you know, pieces of breast like this. I have really large pieces of breast because this is the mother of all chicken, right? I would probably cut also that thigh in 2 because it is pretty large, you know. That chicken would serve easy 8 people. You know,
at least I think 8 to 10.
So maybe I'll try
put it all on. That's a good
serve
idea.
it
Yeah.
here like this. We are going to serve some watercress with that, right? Would go very well with it. You have a bunch of watercress. I love the watercress also when you have some of the juice on top of it.
And I really think just the natural juices enhanced a little bit the way you did it. They're just delicious because it's pure chicken. And when you've got a lovely chicken like this, I don't really like it mucked up with a lot of sauce and stuff. Because that makes for perfect roast chicken, and I think it's not difficult if you just pay attention to it and make sure that you get a good chicken and make sure that you haven't over or undercooked it. And then carve it with style.
Yes.
And I think we shall say, bon appetit.
And happy cooking.
A presentation of KQED San Francisco.
Today we're going to do soufflés. And as everyone knows, the heart of the good soufflé is...
Egg white, beaten egg white. And I'm going to do mine in copper. I beat it faster than the machine.
Well, we're going to see if you're faster than the machine.
All right.
Okay.
Wow.
Counted. 1, 2, 3, go!
Happy cooking.
Bon appetit. Now, who won that contest between the man and the machine? We both did,
Yeah.
except I thought mine were better.
Yeah, mine was faster and actually better.
Well, anyway, now what we're going
Any
to do,
case.
we're going to start with cheese souffle, and the souffle is just a thick sauce into which egg whites are folded, and it's the egg whites that expand as they're heated, and that makes the souffle rise. You're going to start with the bechamel.
With the bechamel, and I have 3 tablespoons of butter here, and I put 4 tablespoons of flour, so at the base, which we call a roux blanc. Okay, and the roux, of course, on top of the roux that you cook a few seconds, I have a cup and a half of milk, which I'm going to add directly.
How long do you think that the roux has to cook?
Well, I don't cook the roux more than like 10-15 seconds.
Some people say that then the flour is still raw.
No, I don't believe that.
You don't believe
no,
that?
I don't believe that.
I
because
do.
You do.
Yes.
But you know, think of a crème pâtissière. Crème pâtissière, you beat egg yolk, sugar, you put flour in it, you put your boiling milk, put it back, bring it to a boil and take it out.
And it always tastes floury.
It never tastes flour, it's a crème pâtissière. All right,
Okay.
so this has to come to a boil. What I like to put in mine, I put a little bit of nutmeg.
That's sort of a pinch, isn't
Yes,
it?
and a dash of salt. And the base here, as you can see on the outside here, is starting getting thick. As soon as it comes to a boil, it's about ready. And the bechamel is the proportion here of almost 3 tablespoons of flour per cup of liquid, so it's pretty thick.
A thick white sauce,
Yes,
beautifully made.
and we're going to do cheese in it. Cheddar cheese.
Good.
See how it gets thick now?
It has to be thick so it'll...
Yes, to hold the thing
Hold
together.
everything.
Actually, we're going to put the egg yolk. It's going to thicken it even further.
Now we're going to
Okay.
do the egg whites separately.
Yes. So you break your egg like this, and you separate the white from the yolk, right?
Yeah. And with impeccably clean fingers.
That reminds me when I was an apprentice too. We had to clean up the
And then we're
inside of
going to
the
do,
shell.
as you usually do, oh, you can break a few of these eggs too, Jack.
That's right. So here is what I do. I put them directly in there, and then I remove the yolk. I need that
All the
white.
yolks together.
Here. No, I need the yolk in there. So, okay, we have 3, of course.
Now,
we have-
supposing you have broken the yolk and there's some of the yolk in there, that's why I was doing them separately.
Well, I am
Because you never break them.
All right. Confident.
Okay.
You do have to remove all of the white, you know, and there is a
Yeah.
little white thing on each side, which is called the chalaza of the eggs, which actually the sinew,
Yeah.
which hold the yolk in suspension here in the center of the shell.
Yes, you can see that very
Yeah.
easily.
So that should be removed too.
But now, supposing there's a speck of which you're so good at you never
There
break
isn't
them.
any, yeah.
Well,
You know what happened? When people separate
Okay.
the eggs with the shell, I bet you they lose almost each time about a third of the egg white. So I'm doing about 5 egg white here. What I want to do is to start it very fast first. And I do that to break the egg white so that it's liquid.
I think
If
that's a very good idea.
Yeah, because if you go slowly, it's like a wet mop which goes around and it does. So now I start slowly. And you can hear the egg white falling on itself. And the reason is that I try not to touch the board. There's no way you could go as fast as a machine. Okay, so it's halfway done.
Yes, it is. It's going very quickly.
Yeah, and then you can change hand if you get tired. Well, I think we can put the egg yolk in your bechamel if you want. You have 4 egg yolk there. Basically, I want that type of texture, you know. And now, you see, while Julia is finishing her stuff, I stir gently in my egg, because if I don't do anything, they start breaking down very fast. So you want a little bit of the white? I'll give you a little bit of this first, if you
All right,
mix
to
it
break
with your
it up.
whisk.
Okay.
Okay. That's good. Mixing it with the whisk, that lightens the whole mixture. And now you put it back in there.
All right.
That's it. And then you're going to add some
Oh,
cheese,
I don't
right?
like it all at once, actually, but then I like to put
a little bit
some
at a
of the
time.
cheese.
Okay, so I start folding and you can add cheese. That's right.
Yes, it's much better doing it with two people, isn't it?
Beautiful mixture.
That looks
See,
lovely.
the eggs are not grainy here, and that's the proper texture.
Now, if you find, say, in a machine, if you've beaten them too much and they've gone grainy, that I found if you put another raw egg
It helps.
yolk
That's
in
true.
it,
That's true.
you don't have to throw them all out.
Now what happens, you can put that in your mold ready to go into the oven and you can keep it for 45 minutes. But you cannot beat your egg white, leave them by themselves without anything, unless you put sugar in it to stabilize them to do a meringue. So here, you're putting a color on yours.
What I'm gonna put?
You're putting a color on yours? I never
Yes.
put color on my souffle, but...
Well, then yours don't rise high enough.
Oh, that's true. You want me to butter that for you?
It's buttered now. We need a little.
No, this
We're
is
gonna
not
put a little
butter.
cheese in it,
All right.
and we need to butter that too.
Okay. The cheese is right there. You want
Yeah.
Parmesan cheese, right?
I don't care either one.
Okay, this is butter too.
This is the reason for putting cheese or breadcrumb around the sides, is so that it won't stick to the sides. It'll rise
And you give
up.
a nice crusty,
Yeah.
give a nice crusty side to it.
Okay.
See,
now
that's very nice. No, okay. So we put this first or the color first?
put
This
that first.
Yeah. All right. And how do you attach this? Ah,
And
a
have
little
the
bit of
head of
sewing.
the pin down for easy removal. Well, that's gonna go out.
Good. Should I put a bit more on top now?
I would think so. We want it to rise over the.
Wow, this is a big souffle. Okay, I have all of it in there. Beautiful.
No, it immediately goes into the oven.
This is going to take like 45 minutes. 350 degree I put, right? Okay, I'm finishing my bechamel I did before. Now I put my egg yolk in it. Beautiful color. Okay, so I put my yolk in it. It thickened a little bit.
Yep.
Now I'm going to do the base of the souffle with scallop, you know? We're going to do a scallop base here. And those scallop, I have a pound of scallop almost here, like 3/4 of a pound. I just have a little bit of butter and oil, some shallot.
And they cook
Some
very
thyme.
quickly.
So, I have beaten my egg in the same way, but we did it in the machine this time. And I put a little bit of there.
It's
Here.
always very important of lightening it up.
Julie, I think that I may put that back into the big bowl there.
Okay. Yes, that would be easier.
Okay. Do you want to put the cheese for me, just
Okay.
like you did on the other?
All right. This is weirdy cheese. What kind is it?
This is an English cheddar.
They always do things in strange ways, don't they?
You think so? A little more. You like it?
No,
You don't like it?
I like ours better. No.
So you think we should...
I think it'll be all right in the souffle.
Okay. So the mixture here.
Looks nice. The color is very pretty, I think.
You're gonna put that right on top.
Then does it get anything on top of it?
On top of it, I think that I'm going to put some breadcrumb. I like to put some breadcrumb on top of it.
Here you are.
Maybe I can even mark this.
Oh, yes, that'll be nice.
And mark it a certain way, just the side. Just like this.
Oh, that's very chic.
Oh. Okay, a little bit of breadcrumb on top. And I'll put a little piece of the cheese on top, yes. I know you love it.
Well, it's pretty.
And then you can, of course, you can do that with any type of cheese. Shall we put that in the oven and see how the other one is doing?
Look at our other one. Look at that too, and that's coming up nicely.
Wow, look at that one. So I'll put this one next to it. It's gonna
Yes.
cook a bit faster because it's flatter.
I wonder how nearly done is that, do we think?
I think it takes another 10-15 minutes, in my opinion. The souffle is in the oven now, and remember, you wait for the souffle. The souffle doesn't wait for you, so when it's ready, you gotta sit down and eat it.
I think we're on. Let's open it up.
Okay.
The big one we should check right away.
Wow. Yeah, look at that.
Okay.
We'll
We'll put it right there.
Right here?
Then one way to check is to stick a big skewer in.
This one has to cook another 10
And then it
minutes.
should come out fairly clean as it has, you see. Okay, now the pin's out. There we are, Jack.
Beautiful, look
Beautiful.
at this. Look at that souffle. Let's admire it for a while.
Done.
You know,
it'll stay up a little
yours
bit.
go higher than mine.
Well, that's because we filled it very full and put a collar on. I always start like that and
In the
pull it
center,
apart.
right. All right.
Oh, that looks lovely.
Can't wait to taste it. See, this is perfect. The cooking here, just slightly moist in the center.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And look at the center of that souffle there. And the crust, you know, is coming from the side, which is what's good. Well, it's...
I think we should see if it's any good.
I love, you know, my favorite souffle is actually cheese souffle. I love cheese. And especially
It's so
here.
nice for lunch with a good salad. That's delicious. I think the scallops must be ready now. Let's take it out of the oven.
Yes, look at
Wow.
that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Let's get it this way.
I'll get this out of your way.
This is an easy souffle to serve, you know, when it's in a gratin dish like this. It's easy to serve because you can actually, you know, cut your portion there.
And that funny
look at that.
cheese looks very nice. It looks like orange leaves, doesn't it?
Yes. And then, of course, a beautiful scallop and some juice in the bottom. You know, the scallop are there and give
Oh, I
me
think
some
that's
juice.
lovely.
Madame,
Monsieur?
shall we taste it? You want to taste those... you want to see the scallop the way they are cooked?
That's right.
You're right, the scallop are not overcooked at all.
No, they're fine.
Beautiful.
Now we're going to have your famous and delicious chocolate. I think, remember in the old days, there was Dione Lucas, a famous English woman who was a great French cook. And I think her signature dish was the chocolate, what you call it, roulade or roll?
Yes, roulade au chocolat. Yeah.
Yes, it was lovely, but Jack's is even better, I think.
Well,
it's moister and lighter and better.
good. Now I'm going...
Not that she wasn't a wonderful cook,
yeah.
too.
I want to show you now how to line up the jelly roll pan. So you fold that in 4 and you cut the corner here. The open corner there. Now
Why
what
do we do that?
Well, we take a bit of butter and we butter half of it. About half of it this way. Then we fold the one which is not buttered on top, so that it's buttered on each side. Then we open
Well,
it.
that saves you from buttering it each side.
Right. Now we open it. We put it buttered side down.
And this is parchment paper.
For a second, parchment. And then you lift it up. Now it's buttered on the other side. And we
That's
put it
really
here.
labor saving.
Yes. And what happens is, you see the corner, the way those things
Yeah,
fold
that really
in the
folds in.
corner there because you cut the
Yeah.
paper this way. So
That's very clever.
it makes a nice little casing, you know. And it's important to unmold it later on. You can see that
Yes, you
corner.
better be able to unmold it.
Yes. So we are ready now. So I am going to do the ganache.
Okay.
And ganache is really chocolate and cream, and in equal proportion. I have a cup of cream here, and with that cup of cream, we have 8 ounces of chocolate. This is a bittersweet chocolate. There is sugar in it, but it's very, very good quality. And I have 6 egg white that I'm going to start here, and I put a tablespoon and a half of sugar directly at the beginning.
At the beginning. Now, that's unusual.
Yeah, that will stabilize the egg white,
Oh.
and they hold better. So this is going to get very smooth. It does beautiful chocolate truffle with this. See, that's it. It's basically all ready.
About
now.
done.
And it's,
You don't want to let it boil.
no, you don't want to let it boil. The cream was hot. When the cream is hot, it makes very fast.
But you have to be very careful that you're a pro and you know how to do it. But us home people,
We stop it.
we
No, but
don't
you-
know all the difficulties. If
Of course,
you
you
really,
know sometimes more than I do.
but if you let it boil, it can all thicken up. So if you want to be absolutely safe, you can put it over water, then you'll be
Right.
absolutely safe. So that's beautiful. That's just as smooth
it,
as anyone could want.
Okay, my egg white looks beautiful.
And you do use the machine now and then.
Oh, yes, I do, of course. You see. I'm going to put this directly in there.
And the egg whites, it doesn't hurt them at all to have hot chocolate go in.
Well, I mix them a little bit with the whisk and finish it with the rubber spatula.
I must say, it smells.
And that smell good?
Now, if this were cream, that would deflate the cream.
Oh,
It doesn't
yes.
hurt the
Anything
chocolate at
hot,
all. So that's a ganache with egg white, so that is really a souffle, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I could put that in the oven and do a beautiful chocolate souffle. You know, I like the chocolate souffle, individual souffle, so that would be good. You could probably do about 10 individual souffle with that, you know?
Now, what an easy way to make a souffle.
Yes, it is.
And wait till you taste it. It has a moistness to it, which is just lovely.
I think you like that recipe, Julia.
I do.
Huh? We flatten it out a little bit here. And you know, this at 350 degrees will cook about 12 minutes, you know, in those area. It cooks pretty fast. You could do a souffle, or you could do a cake like a souffle and let it cool off, and then mold it like a flourless chocolate cake, or then you can do your roulade.
There's nothing worse than as a title than a flourless chocolate cookie. Who cares whether it has flour in it or not?
But it's important, it's good.
So that's what that's
Okay,
for.
12 minutes, 350 degrees.
Fine. Now what?
Now you're gonna beat the cream for
Oh,
me,
I'm going to
right?
beat the cream.
Okay.
Good. I always beat the cream over ice. I've got ice in here. Because it's got to be cold.
We need 1 cup of cream.
Then I don't ever use the machine for cream.
Uh-huh.
Because I don't, if you want to beat as much air in as possible.
I
It
put,
really takes about, it takes a good 5 minutes.
I put the sugar now.
Okay.
Tablespoon and a half of sugar, and a little bit of cognac.
That was like a tiny bit of vanilla in it too. Is that
Okay, a tablespoon of cognac, and then maybe
About a teaspoon of vanilla?
teaspoon of
Half a teaspoon.
Good. Looks good already.
I'll let you beat a little bit too. It's good for the arm.
It is true. Can I take it out?
As long as it's really chilled.
Yeah. I think the beauty of it, the important part is that the cream is beaten with a back and forth motion much more than getting into it like the egg white.
But you want to get as much air in as possible, don't you?
And usually it may break down and turn into butter, you know, if you beat in it too much. But just the emulsion back and forth, you can see it being taken now.
And this is going to be beaten into chantilly.
Yeah, that's it.
In other words, it isn't stiffly beaten white cream, it's softly beaten white
Like
cream.
this?
You think that's just about enough?
Yeah.
But I think having it cold is very
It
important.
helps a lot, yes.
And that you can beat ahead of time. You can just keep it in a bowl of ice. And I think
Yes.
you have a ready
Yes.
one. So we won't have to
Got
wait.
one.
He has a ready one.
Which is ready there. Take it out there.
And this has to be cool.
What I like to do is to put a little bit of cocoa powder here, unsweetened cocoa powder.
Now, if you did this ahead, could you do it overnight?
If I do it overnight, or if it's summer, if it's very humid too, I may want to put a little bit of gelatin in the cream. You know?
I mean, melt it in.
Yes, to hold it. Let's see here. Just a little layer of this. Cream. Okay. So let's see
This
now.
is typical of chefs. They never clean out
No,
the
I
bowl.
always clean. I'm going to serve that next
Oh,
to the
see. Oh, you
next
are.
to the. No, I always clean everything. I'm a real.
So I always feel that they have a lot of
All right,
minions
I'll put a little
outside.
more on top of it. In addition, I haven't been in the kitchen, in the professional kitchen, a long time, you know. I work at home, and if I don't clean anything, my wife yelled at me, so I'm very careful. Okay, so we use the paper, you know, to roll it basically this way. And you know, at that point, I could put that other piece of paper underneath and keep it like that in my refrigerator ready. So here we have to transfer this to that.
And it doesn't make any difference if it cracks, it's going to cover it with
We're gonna put a
powdered
little
sugar or
bit
something anyway.
of cocoa powder on top here.
Yeah.
So now, really what we put on top of it here is again a little bit of unsweetened cocoa powder. I can leave some of that on my tray, you know, makes a bit of a decoration. This is very easy to cut.
You don't put powdered
Usually-
sugar on that, on the top.
Oh, we could if you want.
Or you could frost it if you wanted to.
This is for the chef, you know, in the
Yeah.
kitchen, you cut the end of it. Especially if you do your bûche de Noël, so it has a
Yeah.
nice shape. Okay, I'm going to give you a nice slice out of it.
Well, I'm ready.
You know, it's still a little warm from the oven. And we could put, oh, maybe a little decoration, a little bit of flowers,
Yes. That's...
maybe a little sprig of mint.
Well, now I'll see if it's any good.
Me too. You need a nice sweet wine with that. Quite light, huh?
It's lovely. So I've had a lot of them that are kind of dry, and this has a lovely moist quality to it.
I did it with your help. You whipped the cream.
This is really just so good I can't stop eating it. I'll just say, bon appetit.
And happy cooking.
A presentation of KQED San Francisco.
Jacques and I are both vegetarians.
But we eat meat too.
Well, we eat everything.
Yes, including vegetable and a lot of vegetable. But you have to treat your vegetable well, respect them, you have to season them properly.
And know how to cook them.
Right.
We have a great group of them for you today.
Happy cooking.
Bon appetit. We're going to start out with a stuffed whole head of cabbage. This is a recipe that you find in practically every culture, I think, particularly in Middle Europe.
Yes. And here we have a Savoy cabbage, and your regular cabbage, you can actually use either one, right?
No, but the Savoy is prettier. I'll get
Savoy
this
is-
one out of our way.
And one way that Julia does it, I had never done it before.
Well, I read about it. It's
You
not
read
my
about it?
invention.
Oh, okay.
And it works.
What you do, you take the core of that cabbage, that I'm doing now, and conventionally what you have to do is to remove all of those leaves and to blanch them. And you blanch them, of course, in salted boiling water. But what we did here, what did we do?
What we did here, we put it in the freezer. This is frozen solid, isn't it?
Yes. Hot frozen solid, and as you can see at that point, the leaves are still very frozen, kind of separate like this, so they are kind of blanched.
So that saves you one whole step, because it was an awful nuisance boiling them and pushing the leaves off
Yes.
as you did it.
Those separate, but it gets very hard as you get toward the center. So I have another one here which has been defrosting.
And while you take off the leaves, I'll start making the stuffing. The stuffing is going to have chopped vegetables and a bit of meat and some rice. And these all have to be sauteed first. So I'm using some vegetable oil, heating that up. Then we're going to have onion.
See those here now. You can undo all those leaves after it's been defrosted.
That really is wonderful how well it works,
terrific.
isn't it?
What I'm going to do also is to take the center of that cabbage, and I'll give you
Yes,
up to about here, because that part here you can't really, the leaves are too small, and that we're going to use in the stuffing. So I'm keeping all of that stuff here. That's good. And I'll give you that.
That's the center.
Yeah, that's the center for your stuffing.
Celery there.
And then we're going to stuff all of those leaves.
Well, we're going to form it so that it looks as though we're a whole cabbage. So you'll think, oh, there's that cabbage. That doesn't look very nice. Until you start cutting it up and you find all of this stuffing in it. And this is one of these recipes where you can really do what you want. You don't have to do what we do. You can have mushrooms or
Absolutely.
who knows what.
And then when the cabbage is stuffed, we're going to kind of braise it. So on this side, I'm going to start a braising liquid. And for that, I will have also a little bit of celery.
And that's about 3 or 4 cloves of garlic.
Okay.
And once cooked, it loses its violence. I put in a bit of
You don't like violent garlic.
a little caraway seeds there. That's
Classically.
about half a teaspoon, I would say.
It is good, yes. Okay.
Is that for me or for you?
No, that's for me.
Well,
I'm
that's
going
for
to
you
do the
when you
braising
braise the
liquid.
cabbage. But this all has to be nice and soft so it will give out its flavors.
Well, I have some stuff here if you want. So I'm putting the carrot, celery. I will also put a little bit of oil in mine.
I haven't put any salt and pepper in mine.
Salt and pepper,
I'll
yeah.
put in some white pepper.
The onion. Now there is 2 parts to that recipe which look the same but are different. The first part that Julia is doing there is ready to go inside the leaf, mixed with the meat and the rice. And that second part is for the whole cabbage to be braised or cooked back on top of this. So this is a flavoring base, if you want.
We're not doing a vegetarian stuffed cabbage, but we could perfectly well. You don't need
You could.
meat in it at all.
No.
What you put in instead? Mushrooms, I think.
We could stuff it with mushroom, rice, with bulgur, with any type
Yes.
of leftover pasta would be very good. And inside we're going to put some tomato. Those tomatoes have been dipped in boiling water so that the skin come out very easily. If you want to blanch them, if you don't want to blanch them, it's fine. Cut them in half and press out the seed. I need
many?
about 3 cups of this.
You always do this, practically always when you're adding tomato, is to get that extra juice out of, which you can keep for something else, but you don't want your stuffing all watery with tomato juices.
Or even if you don't have it, a can of stewed tomato will be perfectly
Yes, that
fine
would be
in it.
perfectly all right.
And for me, I have about 3 cups of tomato here.
This is your sauce still.
This is the base, yes. The sauce, a bit of salt, pepper in it. I'm going to cover this, and just like yours, mine is going to have to cook for a few minutes.
Now this is just about ready. It's thoroughly cooked and the liquid is mostly evaporated. All right, into the bowl.
If you had more time, of course, you could let that cool off a little bit. But in our case here, we're going to put the rice in it.
We got about 1.5, 2 cups there.
We had 1 cup of raw rice, which give you about 2 cups of cooked rice.
think that's going
Yes.
to have to be done with your impeccably clean fingers. Do you think we should saute a little bit and taste it to make
And taste
sure?
it? Well, we could do that too.
You want to be sure that it's wonderfully seasoned. When you get it mixed up, give me
I give
a
you a
little
little
bit.
bit of this. You ready
Well,
for
first-
it?
Mm-hmm.
What we are going to do now is to reform a whole cabbage. And to this, I think one of the easiest ways is actually to do it on a piece of aluminum foil. We'll start by kind of reforming the top of our cabbage.
Now, here you are, Jack.
Want to taste it? I think that's good. I think it can take a dash more salt, so what we can do, we can season as we go along here.
Doesn't need much, I don't think.
No? Okay.
You'd never know there was that much garlic in it.
In this. So what we do, we put a first layer of meat, rice stuffing here. You want to give me a hand? And we try to put
It looks so limp and funny
yeah,
at this point,
the
doesn't it?
outside of the rib going back in that shape, right? I need to put at least another layer here.
You got a lot of stuffing there.
I have a lot of stuffing. We're going to do a big cabbage. Here we are.
You can do this alone, but it's better with two people, isn't it?
Yes. Always better to cook with your family and friends. Here I have a third layer here. That's it. Here, we're using everything. Okay. I mean, actually, we could reform it like this in the shape of the cabbage, and this is good with this. And I think another good idea, too, is actually not to have that much aluminum foil, so the juice of the cabbage